little theater off Broadway on 47th Street. It's theater time with Lily Tomlin and an all-star cast. The hour of the performance is drawing near. My cab is waiting. Won't you join me? Driver, build more theater and make it snappy. Up Broadway and across the Great White Way to 47th Street. Everywhere you look, we see throngs of theater lovers. And now, just ahead is our theater. Here we are. Driver, keep the change.
Hey, Mr. Theater Goer, let me help you with your car door here.
Thank you very much.
You remember me? I'm Tess.
Yes, Tess, I do remember you, Tess.
Hey, you do? You remember me? Boy, what a great night I'm having. I got evidence. My pockets may be empty, but my shopping bags are full.
Good night, Tess.
Hey, listen, if you see Lillian Tomlinson, tell her the UFO guy told me to tell her the world is cracked. She'll understand. Tell her to spread the word.
Excuse me.
Step in with tickets, please. This way with all tickets. Center aisle.
The crowd is elegantly dressed. What a glamorous gathering. I'll take a T-shirt, please. You can feel the tension in the air. The audience is just about seated. The curtain should be going up any moment.
Sorry. I need to hold you up. What kind of crowd is it?
It's a good house tonight.
Oh, good. Oh, my gosh. Now I'm nervous.
No.
Expectations.
Cameras and recording devices in this theater is strictly forbidden by law. Thank you.
Okay. House out. Go. House is out, and she's there.
Well, thank you all a lot. I thought when I came to Broadway it was going to be so glamorous. I used to imagine myself going out of the theater at night, leaving the stage door, and finding stage door persons waiting. Silk top hats, limousines, bouquets of flowers. I imagined myself throwing sable aside and wending my way through throngs of adoring autograph seekers. Last night when I left the theater, I don't want no fucking autographs! What the hell is wrong with you? Who are you anyway? I didn't come in this alley for no autographs. I came in here to pee. I worry that the person who thought up Muzak may be thinking up something else. I worry that drugs have forced us to be more creative than we really are. Does your mind feel more and more like Teflon? Nothing sticks to it. The other day I bought a wastebasket and I carried it home in a paper bag. And when I got home, I put the paper bag in the wastebasket. Hi, I am not a professional actress. I am a real person like yourself. I am not here to sell you a product, but to give you some good consumer advice. Most of us are aware of our diminishing supply of natural resources. But did you know we are also running short on unnatural resources? Until recently, I, like so many of you, thought that surely there was enough plastic in the world to go around. Apparently, this is not true. You hear all this talk about saving trees. Well, trees can be grown. With plastics, you have to start from scratch. To say we are up a creek without a paddle will be truer than ever, since paddles are now made of polyvinyl chloride. Some of you may be saying, is this a real crisis or just something the plastics industry trumped up to raise the price of plastics? Well, I am sorry to be the one to tell you that this is a genuine synthetic crisis. If some something isn't done, there could be a panic on plastics. Vinyl leopard skin will become an endangered synthetic. Greedy people will be hoarding things like baggies, rain bonnets, shower curtains, astroturf, spatulas, plastic toothpicks, parcheesi dice, and leisure suits. Tupperware parties will have to be shut down. Studies show that over 2/3 of game show gift items are made of some form of plastic. Let's Make a Deal in one game show alone uses more plastic than the entire country of India has ever seen. If we don't stop squandering and start conserving our unnatural resources, there will be an end to civilization as we know it. This piece was written about my mother and father. I've changed the names to protect them. We need a door slam. It's more than sufficient. It's after supper. Lud and Marie are sitting in the living room. Marie is cutting recipes from a magazine and pasting them to 3x5 cards. Lud is reading the newspaper and eating a piece of cake. The front door opens. Is that you?
No, it's Dracula's daughter.
How's the cake, Lud? Oh, like always, I guess. Couldn't be like always. I never got this kind of cake before. I thought something was different. I was going to get that banana kind, but you always pick the icing off. So I got this plain kind of cake because it didn't have any icing. No icing, huh? I thought something was missing. How come you never get that chocolate kind of cake anymore? Because the last time I got it, Lud, you broke out into a rash. I did, I don't remember that. When did I get that rash? Tuesday. And when did I eat that cake? Monday. Must have been the cake then. Well, that's what I thought. That's why I got this plain kind of cake, because it's not so rich. Yeah, not so rich, not so good either. Well, I thought this plain kind of cake wouldn't be as fattening. Not as fattening because it's not as good as a rich kind. So you don't eat as much. Well, maybe that's why you broke out into a rash, Lud. You eat too much of that other kind of cake because you like it too much.
Please stop talking about that cake!
Lays up there in that bedroom, plays them records till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Criticize somebody. Go with me, young lady. I'll take my belt off to you. Oh, now, Lud, don't start. That insurance man will be here any minute. Oh, I'll take my belt off to you, too, Toots. Now, quit. Put your shoes on. That insurance man will be here. We don't need nobody around here after supper. Too late. Where are you going, Lud? I'm going in the kitchen to get me some more of that good old cake. I thought you didn't like this cake. I thought you liked that other kind of cake. That cake with the icing.
Stop talking about that cake!
Young lady, I want that screaming stop this minute. Do you hear me? Look, Marie, you got that little bumpy place up under your chin. You must have got my rash. Oh, I couldn't have. I didn't even eat any of that cake. I can't even say the word hush in my own house. That just takes the hush. Where are you going, Marie? I am going in the kitchen to put on some coffee, in case that insurance man wants some coffee and some cake. doorbell rings. I am Mr. Monroe. Come on in. Mrs. Tomlin's gone there in the kitchen. Put on some coffee. In case you want some coffee. And some cake. I think I would enjoy a cup of coffee and a piece of cake. Did you hear that? Hear what? What I heard was nothing. Was absolutely nothing. What's me and you go in the kitchen and get us a cup of coffee and a piece of cake? A gracious hello. Here at the phone company, we handle 84 billion calls a year, serving everyone from presidents and kings to the scum of the earth. So we realize that every so often you can't get a call through. Perhaps your phone goes out of order for no apparent reason. Maybe you've been charged for a call you didn't make. We don't care. Watch this. Just lost Peoria. You see, here in this computer room, we have a matrix of multi-billion-dollar space-age technology that is so sophisticated that even we can't handle it, but that's your problem, isn't it? So the next time you complain about your phone service, why don't you try using 2 Dixie cups with a string? We don't care, we don't have to. We're the phone company. Did you hear about those pigeons that found they could alter the behavior of lab technicians just by refusing corn pellets? I've actually seen a man walk up to 4 women sitting in a bar and say, "Hey, what are you doing here sitting all alone?" It's the first day of school. I talk to myself as I walk.
This year I gotta buckle down. The 2nd grade is serious business.
I'm not wearing pigtails. My hair has been pin-curled, frizzy on the ends, parted on the side, and held in place by a red plastic 2 lovebirds on a stick barrette. A vinegar rinse gives it red highlights, and it bounces as I walk. My new dress is blue and white checked with a white piqué yoke embroidered with cherries. I feel so attractive in this outfit that just this morning I've said to my mother,
Mama, if I die while I'm still a kid, will you bury me in this dress?
My new school bag slung across my chest bangs between my elbow and my waist. Inside, my new Cinderella pencil box with its own built-in sharpener. No more interrupting walks to the windowsill. And something I have always wanted, a big new art gum eraser with all its corners still sharp. I should feel a lot better than I do. And I did until last May when Miss Fortin called on me to read aloud. I like school. And when I'm asked to read aloud, I read aloud. Full out. A performance almost. Lily Tomlin, you read for us. Everything is going well. The class is caught up in the story. I've got him. Very loudly I say,
Jack is worried. He cannot find the boat. There is water all around the island.
How was I supposed to know? You think you're okay, and then something like Island comes along. That was last May. For the rest of the term, when I was asked to read aloud, I would just mumble into my book. And now I've spent the entire summer hoping and praying that I will not be Lily Island Tomlin for the rest of my life. But deep in my heart, I know it's impossible for 30 kids to have moved and changed schools over the summer. I dread the schoolyard.
Hey, Islam! Larry, there's that kid Tomlin, so stupid.
Oh, yeah, Island. But like every other kid in America, I have the chance to start over again each September. And after my first day in the 2nd grade, I'm happy. Because nobody seems to remember Island, and because I found the best reason ever to like school, Miss Sweeney.
Miss Sweeney, Mama. Her name is Miss Sweeney. She said we could sit wherever we want. I sat right up front, and she smiled at me. Mama, she looks just like a movie star.
Miss Sweeney did look like a movie star. She looked like Loretta Young. And she wore cashmere sweaters to school. Each one monogrammed with a little M, big S, little A. I'd sit at that first desk in row 3 for hours trying to figure out that monogram. I knew the big S stood for Sweeney, and I just had to know what her first name was, little M, little A. And one day when I should have been coloring Lake Michigan blue, I peeped up and I saw Miss Sweeney reach inside her cashmere sweater. My heart stopped. As I watched the shape of her hand move slowly under little M, big S, little A. I didn't have breasts yet. I was only 7. But I knew that when I did, I would feel about mine exactly the way Miss Sweeney felt about hers. That day, I walked her to her car for the first time. What is it that you wanted to ask me, Lily?
Is your first name Margaret Ann?
Oh, how did you guess?
It was just a hunch. Could I call you Margaret Ann?
Well, I think you'd better call me Miss Sweeney.
Yeah, okay.
Well, at least in front of the other children.
See you tomorrow, Margaret.
In my mind, we were friends. True, she was taller. Almost 3 feet. But they didn't let kids wear high heels to school in those days. In class, if I'd speak out of turn, she'd understand. She'd say, "Hold your horses, Lily." And then she'd laugh. I could always make her laugh when I wanted to, and I almost always wanted to. Some days, if she was tired after school, I'd understand. It wasn't easy teaching 30 kids how to read and write. I didn't think of myself as teacher's pet. It's just that I had nothing in common with a bunch of illiterate 7-year-olds. I knew Miss Sweeney had a boyfriend, and I had a hunch his name was Daryl. Yes, one day, Daryl would walk into class. Miss Sweeney would turn from the blackboard. Their eyes would meet. Daryl would rush to her side, sweep her up into his arms, and give her a long, passionate movie star kiss. The other kids would laugh and titter. What could you expect? Not me, I'd understand. Daryl would look at me, the only child not laughing, walk to my desk, lift my eyes to his and say, "Why, you must be Lily." I'd look at the monogram D on his sweater.
Yes, and you are Daryl, aren't you?
Why, how did you guess? Oh, Daryl, Lily is the very best there is at guessing names. How she ever guessed Margaret Ann, I will never know.
Why, of course, I should have known. Won't you join Margaret and me for a cup of coffee? Margaret wants you to be bridesmaid at the wedding. And then you must come and live with us.
I was the first to see him. He tapped lightly on the glass. Miss Sweeney turned suddenly from the blackboard and squeaked the chalk, something she'd never done before. She glanced at the door, she glanced back at us, and her voice seemed to tremble as she said, "Excuse me, class." And she disappeared into the hall. I couldn't see them, but I knew exactly what they were doing. And my blood was pounding from the thought of monogram pushing against monogram. The kids were quiet at first, but they began to grow restless, so I got up to quiet them down. And before I realized it, I was standing at the blackboard, a piece of chalk in my hand. I don't know what came over me. Maybe it was the laughs, but I turned to the blackboard and I began to draw a beautiful Hawaiian Hula Girl. The swaying arms, The grass skirt. Beside the hips, I drew little shake marks. And when I drew the breasts, I covered them lovingly with a little grass brassiere, monogrammed with a little M, big S, little A. In my very best handwriting, I wrote, "Shake it, Miss Sweeney." Everyone laughed, and then I sat down. When she came back into the room, I think her lipstick was smeared. I didn't get a good look. As soon as she saw the Hula Girl, she turned right at me and she said, "Lily, this time you have gone too far. It is just not funny." On the way home that day, all I could think of was Miss Sweeney. "Lily, this time you have gone too far. It is just not funny." As I stood at the corner of Hamilton and Claremont Streets, I watched the Hamilton bus approach. I decided to throw myself in front of it to end it all. I didn't see her. I swear to God, I jumped out. I didn't even see her. She showed such promise.
Hey, that's the kid that said Island.
Where's somebody get Miss Sweeney? That's her favorite pupil. Wait. It's too late. And as the crossing guard picked up my limp little body, cradled my little head in his arms, with my last breath, I gazed up at his tear-stained face and I said,
Tell Miss Sweeney goodbye.
And the curtain goes down on the first act of On Stage, Intermissions.
There's no smoking in the theater, smoking outside only. No smoking in the theater, smoking downstairs and outside only.
Yeah? You probably don't believe in flying saucers, but it don't matter. They don't care if you believe in them or not. See, they're different from God. Boy, first time I seen a flying saucer came as quite a shock. There was this little driver, see, he was kind of cute. He was sitting right here, didn't have no feet or nothing. He was just kind of suctioned to the sidewalk. Later, when he left, I seen a spot there. Hey, lady, come here. See, right here, I seen a spot, a little damp spot, a little astronaut residue. You can still see the remnants. That's when he told me. He said, "This is my message. Tell your people the world is cracked." I said, "I know that. Look at this sidewalk. See, there's a bunch of them. They live inside the crack in a big hole in the middle of the earth. Yeah, we've been thinking they're from outer space, but they're from inner space. That's why the Army can't find them. They've been looking in the wrong space. Easy peasy. How dumb could you get?" He told me they're real worried about the atom bomb. He said it won't take much for the world to crack wide open. He told me to spread the word. Later, when I told authorities, he said, "You got evidence you seen this saucer?" I said, "You got evidence I didn't see it?" Boy, in this world, you don't got evidence. You're nothing. Hey, look, the lights is blinking. The lights is blinking. That could mean showtime or a blackout. Never know these days.
The audience rushes back to their seats. House lights dim. A hush falls over the audience as Miss Tomlin emerges from the wings. Wearing the same black slacks and gray blouse as before.
I have two outfits just alike. I noticed that my blouse was unbuttoned and no one mentioned it. Now, don't make me act gamine. Remember when it used to be a big deal to take a spray can of paint and go spray 4-letter words into the viaduct? And the next day you'd come back and some adult would have changed it to Buick? The 50s was the most sexually frustrated decade ever. 10 years of foreplay. And the 60s, well, the 60s was like coitus interruptus. The only thing we didn't pull out of was Vietnam.
They're yours, the Fab Four!
Janie, did you get the tickets? Thank God. Murray the K just said that Paul is getting married. That only leaves George and Ringo. I'm gonna kill myself. Just a second. What, Mother? I am doing my geometry. Listen, Janie, guess what I'm wearing to the concert? Remember that outfit we saw at Paraphernalia's, the hot pink micro mini and the tasseled papagallos? And please, can I borrow your vinyl purse? I'm gonna look just like Jean Shrimpton. Our high school is such a drag. The principal, Mr. Delmar, is so mainstream. The day Kennedy got killed, all the other schools got out of 4th period. We had to stay till 7th because Mr. Delmar didn't want to be an alarmist. These teachers are so hung up on this reality trip. A bunch of fact freaks. I mean, when was the last time an isosceles triangle came up in a rap you were having? Like last week, I got suspended for pushing pills on the school lawn. They are so lame. I was not pushing, I was just fulfilling a need. They wrote an editorial in the Tribune about me and drugs coming to the suburbs. My father almost had a coronary. I didn't tell them I got the pills from my mother's medicine cabinet. Now my father's club wants me to make a speech about the drug problem. Can you dig it? I should tell them my biggest drug problem is I can't get my mother's prescriptions refilled. Glendale Pharmacy, we make it our habit to fill your habit. I knew it was you, Janie. I knew it was you. Janie, you've got to come over. You've got to see my room. I just painted it Dayglow orange. It's just like living inside a psychedelic poster. A what? A joint? Bring it over. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. We could be bugged. But come in the side door. They think you're a bad influence on me. I may not be great at geometry, but I know one theorem. The longest distance between 2 points is you and your parents. Wait, where's the mirror? I want to watch my pupils dilate. Have you ever done banana peel? I hear that really gets you high. Do you feel anything? I don't think I do either. What's your sign? I knew it. Pisces, just blow me away. Oh, God, I'm starving. Oh, you know what I wish we had? I wish we had like this great big bowl of Rice Krispies with like Hershey's syrup stirred in. And then like this great big plate of cold pork and beans. Oh, wow. TV is so heavy. It is just super heavy. No, man, don't turn it on. Hey, Jane, what's happening, baby? You'll never believe what just happened to me. I met this most beautiful white dude in my black studies course. Jane, he is so for real. He's got this blonde afro. And he wears this fringed vest without any shirt. We were walking across campus. This old guy came up to us and he said, "Hey, are you a boy or are you a girl?" And Oz, he didn't even get uptight behind it. He like dug where the dude was coming from. He said, "I am whatever you see me as." It was so beautiful. Then we were rapping in the library about Vietnam. Oz told me how our imperialistic fascist government is trying to impose itself on a people that just wants to live in peace in their rice paddies. I told him I know all about imperialism and fascism from my father. So then Oz and me, we just got it on right there in the poli-sci stacks. What do you mean, ooh, gross? Janie, it was a protest against the irrelevance of the Dewey Decimal System. I'm going to the rally. You can come if you want. If the daisy's been distributed, we want everyone to have a daisy. And a button. Who wants an up against the wall motherfuckers button? Here's a burn, baby, burn button. Have a nice day. All right, I want this group split up. Half over here and half here. You start. 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't want your fucking more. And you go, all we are saying is give peace a chance. Here come the pigs. Go limp. Oz started sticking daisies in the barrels of the pigs' rifles. So out of sight. A truly loving yet revolutionary act. Oz grokked that on the first trip we took together. I took the other half of the tab, and like I saw the word cuisine floating on the ceiling. So spiritual. I came to like this cosmic understanding of a Lipton flow-through tea bag. Janie, hand me those zigzags. You're gonna love this grass. It is just great. I get such good ideas on it. I got this great idea, see, where I was like the stoned person who gets this great idea, and then I realized that I was the person who was stoned, who got this idea about this person who was stoned, who got this great idea about this person who I couldn't remember what the idea was.
Washington. A Pentagon source says, each time we pause between military targets, we enable Hanoi to accommodate each new level of pain fairly easily.
TV
By increasing
is
the
just
pressure so
getting
slowly,
heavier and
we give
heavier.
Hanoi a chance to decide whether
Let's
the
watch
price
an old
was
Lucy
worth the candle.
rerun. It's the only thing that makes any sense. You know, when I was little, Mother said we used to all sit around Lucy and watch her. I said, we, you mean Daddy, too? She said my brother Johnny did this great imitation of Busy Arnaz, you know, when he gets real uptight and he goes, ay, 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 ay. And we'd all laugh. I said, Daddy, too? She said, Daddy laughed hardest of all. Isn't that something? What, Mother? Mother, the door is locked because we are meditating. Light the incense, light the incense. Mother, if you don't trust me, how am I going to trust myself? Hello? What? No, me and Janie. What is it? You're kidding. What are you saying? Oh, my God. Janie, Meg says that Paul's dead. He's the only one who's barefoot on the Abbey Road album. Wait a second. She says if you play I'm a Walrus backwards, you can hear them saying Paul's dead. So's Malcolm, and Bobby, and Martin Luther King. Maybe it's the other way around. I can't even remember who was assassinated when anymore, can you? Oz always says, hey, go with the flow. And the flow is so heavy, you have no choice but to go with it.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, Janie, TV is just so weird.
Mayor Daly.
Alaska.
It is just getting more weird all the time. I mean, Chicago. Creature feature time. I wish Johnny was home. I'm scared. Johnny sent us a postcard from Canada. All he said was, ay, 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 ay.
This is Houston, F2, 1/160th second for shadow photography on the sequence camera.
Yeah, radio loud and clear. How's it going?
Roger, the EVA is progressing beautifully. I believe they're setting up the flag now.
Great.
I guess you're about the only person around that doesn't have TV.
We go to the moon, and what do the astronauts do?
What's the quality of the TV?
They collect rocks.
Mike really is.
They lope around like they are stoned. They hit a golf ball and they plant a flag. Right now there is a flag and a golf ball on the moon. I mean, is this happening or is it the hash? You know, I should be watching this with my parents. Daddy must be so proud of this country right now. What, Mother? Yes, we're watching. Is Daddy? He's watching. Oh, that technology to get to the moon, and what did we do? We played golf. Oh, inside. That's what we should have done when we went to Vietnam. We should have played golf. Oh, I hope I can remember this tomorrow. The moonwalk was out of sight, wasn't it? With one giant step, mankind took banality out of America and into the cosmos. The astronauts went to the moon. Johnny went to Canada. The Beatles went to India to visit the Maharishi. The Beatles and Mia Farrow dig it. You gotta have enough bread for plane tickets to India to learn to give up material things like plane tickets to India. Oh, Dylan was right on. The times, they are a-changin'. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna.
Today is the first day of the rest of your life.
We shall overcome. Free the Chicago 7, Detroit 6. Off the pigs. Up against the wall, motherfuckers. Burn, baby, burn. Peace.
If you've been toying with the idea of altering your lifestyle, you might dig the cross-country cosmic commune. They're into high-energy games like bliss consciousness and light shows done with sun and mirrors.
Oh, Jane, I'd do it if you could. I could get into commune living. There's gotta be something better. Get back to the land, away from our egos. We could have our own van. You can make soap and candles, roach clips. You can sell them to head shops. Just a second. What, Mother? Hold on a second. Mother, what? Janie, let me call you back. No, something's wrong with my father or something. Mother? Mother, what?
You mean Fred and I could do one of our dance routines? Right after my opening number. That is, if you're as good as you say you are. What do you mean? You may audition for me the first thing in the morning. Oh, good. I'll go tell Fred. Yes. Well, I'm glad that you agree. Yes.
A coronary. Janie, my mother told me to thank you for playing the organ at my daddy's funeral. We didn't know whether to laugh or cry when you started playing the I Love Lucy theme. I think we did a little bit of both. It meant a lot to us. Daddy would have liked it. I was thinking maybe I should go to your encounter group with you. Could I go today? I won't be late. Feeling like you're drowning, Doctor. It's not serious, is it? I just don't know what's happening anymore. I really don't. I mean, well, marches. There's still a lot to protest about, but you can't get a march together these days to save your life. And dope. I remember a time when there was almost a spiritual bond between two people who smoked dope. Now you go to parties, you see these Wall Street broker types saying, hey, let's have a hit off of that. Just takes all the fun out of it. And the Beatles split up, can you imagine? Oz and I split up. Male chauvinist pig. I'd like to share something with my sisters that really raised my consciousness. This guy Oz I used to know, I thought he was so far out he was in. So one day we were arguing and we weren't really dealing, so I said, let's role play. I'll be you and you be me. And he goes, I can't do that. And I said, why not? And he said, are you ready? I can't be a woman. It was so revealing. I just split. Life is just meaningless if you don't do something with it. But what if you've already done something with it and it still seems meaningless? Then you're just not doing enough. Then you've got to do something to help others with their lives. Last week at the crisis center, I talked this kid out of knifing his mother. It's really rewarding. You know, it's funny, but you can give meaning to someone else's life easier than you can your own. Jane, you're not wrecked, are you? No, I'm not speeding. I'm just so excited. Jane, I met the most super guy at the crisis center. His name is David Tate. We're gonna get married, Jane. I know it's just a piece of paper. For God's sake, I'm the one that taught you that. We're only doing it to please Mother. Jane, he's a lawyer. He's working to change the system from within. We're gonna get married on the beach at dawn. We wrote the ceremony ourselves. It's so beautiful. Well, I wanted to sound like Allen Ginsberg or R.D. Laing, but I think it sounds more like Rod McEwen. But we don't care. We are so happy. Oh! There is nothing natural about natural childbirth. It is as close to a freak accident as anything I can think of. Why I picked a time like this to go off drugs. David thought it would bring us closer together. It might have if he hadn't fainted. I sound contemptuous of nature, I am. To think we have the garment industry instead of nature to thank for the zipper concept, when it would have come in so handy for childbirth. Hi, Jane, hi. No, I've been so busy with the kids I haven't had a chance to call. Listen, I wanted you to know that there's a fundraiser tonight at the Unitarian. Just a second. What, Davy? I am on the phone. Well, as a matter of fact, no, I was just going to take the kids over to my mother's. It's her turn to watch them. David's out of town. Why don't we go to Lord & Taylor? There's a big sale, and then we can go to the Unitarian tonight. Listen, I've got a lot to tell you. I've really missed you. All right, bye-bye. Okay, come on, kids, let's go. We're going over to Grandma's. Turn off the TV. No, come on. You can watch Lucy over there. Let's go, come on. Oh, don't give me, yeah. Get in the car, come on. Rosita, I am going out now. Yo voy ahora. Come on, get in the car. Go on, Mama will be there. Rosita, I've left the grocery list on the counter. Remember, no lettuce and no grapes. Adios.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, we ring down the curtain on Lily Tomlin.
Hey, Mr. Theater Goer, down here, I'm holding this cab for you. Boy, it's hard to give one this time of night. Crowds everywhere. Permit me to assist you.
Driver, sardines, and make it snappy.
Good night, Mr. Theater Goer. Hey, Lil, how you doing?
Oh, hi, Tess.
How you doing? I've been waiting outside for you, as per usual. Hope you had a pleasurable night on the stage.
I did, Tess, thanks.
Hey, did you spread the word, Lil?
I tried.
The inner space guy told me to tell you the world is cracked. I done my part. Hey, you mind dropping me off, Lil?
Well, I have some...
I'm ready to go! Thanks, Lil. Hey, Lil, look at all these buttons. Hey, I gotta lower the window, Lil, because I gotta spread the word. Hey, the space guy told me to tell you, life's like a big fountain. We should all jump in and get wet. I said to him, what about us people who don't live near fountains? He said, that's life. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Hey, Lil, I'm missing her shopping bag. I must have left it back there by the theater. Come on, driver, turn around. Hang a Yui. Boy, Lil, I hope nobody stole my shopping bag. But if they did, that's life, eh? There it is. There it is up ahead. Somebody threw it in the trash can. That's where I got it. These days, people don't know the value of nothing. I always been lucky, Lil. I always been lucky. Boy, what a great night I'm having. What a great night. I got evidence. I got evidence. My pockets may be empty.